Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, friends. I can't bamf too long because we are watching Season 2's premiere episode of Babylon 5 entitled Points of Departure. It's only been a few days since I've watched Chrysalis and it's felt like an eternity. I do not know how all of you that watched it at original airing waited months between these. I have absolutely no idea. Friends, I can't wait any longer, so let's get into it. If you could do me a huge favor and hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly, greatly helps out a small channel, and it allows me to alert you next time we go to Babylon 5. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. And if you're not a fan of Patreon, consider sticking with us on YouTube memberships. You'll get all of our episodes at least a day early, plus any bonus episodes we come up with. But my dear friends, all that is then and this is now, and now it's time for Babylon 5, Season 2, Episode 1, Points of Departure. Prepare to engage maximum warp reaction. And for the first time this season, away we go! Agamemnon. Earth Alliance Starship Agamemnon, January 8th, 2259. A couple days have gone by.
Those hijackers so much as blink in your direction. Yell. We'll be here.
Roger. See you then.
Agamemnon out.
Bruce Boxleitner, Tron, and the Scarecrow and Mrs. King, I think. The Agamemnon.
It's General Haig, Joint Chiefs of Staff.
General Haig.
Patch it through to my office.
Yes, sir.
Joint Chiefs of Staff. That's who Pierce was working for, right?
Receive. General, this is a surprise.
We don't know him.
In the last few days, a Minbari warship has been seen in Earth-controlled space. Sector 423 by 27.
That would put it about 2 jumps from Babylon 5.
Minbari cruiser.
The war's been over for more than 10 years. Why would the Minbari government launch an attack?
They wouldn't. We have a renegade warship on our hands.
The Trekkie.
Trekkie. Jesus.
The Minbari government has dispatched a second cruiser in hopes of finding the Trekkie before it does any damage.
Okay, well, they're helping us then. Good.
The last time I made personal contact with the Minbari warship, I sent it straight to hell.
That's why I want you in that part of space, Captain.
Nice. I know the general from somewhere, but I don't...
I need you to do one other job. And this comes straight from the President.
President Clark.
It is now 8 days since the death of Earth Alliance President Luis Santiago, and 5 days since Commander Sinclair was recalled to Earth without explanation.
They recalled Jeff?
And if you're not happy with the seating arrangements, I will personally order your seats to be moved outside, down the hall, across the station, and into the fusion reactor. Am I absolutely, perfectly clear on this?
So Susan's in charge. I don't even know.
Security Chief Michael Garibaldi remains
Mike.
in critical condition in MedLab. Dr. Franklin's done all he can, but we still don't know if he'll recover.
Oh, come on.
As for Ambassador Delenn,
Lanier.
well, something's going on in her quarters. That's for sure.
She's still in there. It's been a week. Or 9 days, right?
A gold channel message for you. It's General Haig.
I'll take it in the briefing room.
General Haig calling around to a bunch of people.
Your commanding officer, Commander Sinclair, will not be returning to Babylon 5. He's being reassigned permanently.
What?
The
Oh, shit. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, I'm not looking at anything, and I have until 5:40. I'm shook. I don't know what to... Oh, my God. He's permanently reassigned? That can't be right. Okay, let me check my... By the way, I have everything except the very, very bottom of the screen covered so I can see the clock. I have about 30 more seconds. 39, 5:40, I'm there.
What do you mean you're reassigning Commander Sinclair? Reassigning him where?
To the Minbari homeworld. He'll be functioning as the first Earth ambassador allowed permanent residence there. Been trying to find someone suitable, and the Minbari specifically requested Sinclair.
But why him?
That information is strictly on a need.
He's the ambassador?
Captain Sheridan, John Sheridan?
That's right, I believe you know him.
Yes, sir. I served under him at the transfer point off Io. He's a good man and a fine officer.
I really don't know how to feel about this.
We told her to wait. Prophecy will attend to itself, we told
Jeff
her.
is on the... He's the ambassador on the Minbari homeworld?
The Trekkie has been seen in this sector. If it should appear, you must go to the humans and tell them what we've told you. It's time they knew the truth.
Lieutenant Commander, about the new captain.
Yes, I would like a full honor guard present when his ship docks. We've barely got enough time to...
He's here.
What?
His Earth Force transport just docked.
Our guy got a haircut. I really like Bruce Boxleitner too, but I'm so shook because of Jeff.
I assume you'd like to begin with a quick tour of the facilities?
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Right this way.
What was his name? John Sheridan? JS?
They actually had fresh oranges on the transport. I haven't had an orange in almost 2 years. I used to dream about them.
Cool shot, new set, I think.
Ambassador Jakar has mysteriously vanished. After 2 years, we still don't know what Ambassador Kosh looks like inside his encounter suit. And Ambassador Delenn is in a cocoon.
I'm gonna let this play out, friends. I'm not gonna... The size of that sumbitch.
Green sector is for diplomatic personnel.
You know, I never knew
and
this.
is closed to unauthorized personnel. Red sector is for commerce and trade.
Red commerce. I never knew that.
Does this place come with a shower? I mean, a real, live, honest-to-God shower with running water and everything?
Executive suites and command quarters all have showers with real, live, honest-to-God water.
A shower. I may come to like it here.
No, don't get used to it, dude.
When I heard about the change in command, I figured we'd get stuck with some high-level bureaucrat, or an admiral, or an ambassador, and...
And why me? Apparently, I was the late president's first choice to replace Sinclair in case anything happened. While commanding the Agamemnon, I worked with many of the non-aligned worlds.
Non-aligned.
Even a few Minbari.
That's what I was concerned about. I mean, the Minbari aren't exactly going to be thrilled to find out you're running Babylon 5.
No shit.
I hear they still call you Starkiller.
It was a long time ago. 12 years.
Star Killer? What a nickname.
How's the crew handling it?
You're still pretty shocked. I don't think the reality of it is quite sunken in yet.
This is what you all meant by give it time. I'm going to. A couple of you said, when I told them, it said I was starting season 2, you all said give it time, so I'm listening. I'm going to listen to all of you.
I just keep seeing Earth Force One blowing up over and over again in my dreams. You know, all my life, I thought that I could handle everything.
So Santiago couldn't have recalled Sinclair, so it had to be Clark. What the fuck is going on?
The commander being called back to Earth and the ambassadors yelling and carrying on. I don't know, I just hope I've done okay by them.
Susan, I'm sure you did great.
I'll just grab a fast shower, we'll head up to command and control, and I'll give them my good luck speech.
Sir?
That's the same speech I gave him when I took command on Io, on the Agamemnon. I always give it within 24 hours of taking on a new assignment.
Well, then I look forward to hearing it.
I'm going to be quiet. I'm not even sure what to say here, everybody. I'm shocked, to say the least.
Kalain!
We do not harm our own kind, Kalain. We never have.
Perhaps it is time to start.
Kalain?
We have intercepted a message from the humans to Minbar. We know they have chosen Sheridan the Star Killer to lead this place. They tell us that Sinclair is now on our world.
He is an ambassador.
So you say. But the Grey Council never tells anyone the whole truth.
Did they bring Sinclair closer to them? That's probably it. They needed to have Jeff close. Mike's gonna be devastated, man.
Good afternoon, Lieutenant Commander.
How'd you know it was me?
Oh, it's 2:45. You always come by at 2:45, see how he's doing.
So?
No change.
Well, the human body is an amazing thing. It can cure itself, or it can simply decide one day that the world is too painful to deal with and won't cooperate no matter how hard you try to heal it. Now, that debate is going on somewhere in Garibaldi's body right now.
All right, great writing.
Just gonna have to wait and see who wins.
Well, then I'll say a prayer for him tonight.
He's agnostic.
Then I'll say half a prayer.
Really solid writing in that scene.
Abraham Lincoln, who best described our current...
Captain, they're ready for you.
He's prepping a canned speech. You gotta speak from the heart, dude. That's what Jeff would do.
After reading some of your reports, I begin to understand what I don't understand about Babylon 5. But I couldn't wish for a more capable and skilled group of people to learn from.
I'm a little upset. I'm gonna be very honest with you.
I'm sorry to bother you, sir, but I've got security on the link. They've got him in Bari demanding to speak to you. He won't say what it's about, only that it involves the safety of the station.
We're 5 feet away. You can bring the volume down a bit.
We'll get back to this later. There's plenty of time for speeches. Carry on.
He said he had to give it within 24 hours, right? I don't know if that's a good sign or...
I'm sorry. I seem to be lost. I'm looking for Brown, too.
Oh, you're way off. You want the core shuttle. It's back that way.
I see.
Look at this good-looking bastard.
This car...
His name is Calais. He was second in command of one of our flagship cruisers during the war with your people.
Oh, boy.
If you will arrange to have him apprehended, I will have him picked up by others and conveyed to Minbar.
You said he was second in command of a Minbari cruiser.
Which one?
Which one?
I don't see what that has to do with this.
Was it the Trugati?
What's the Trugati?
It's the Renegade one. Renegade one.
When our ships were ordered to surrender, one of our war leaders, Sinoval, took his own life rather than obey, and became a martyr to his own crew. They believe that they have been betrayed by their own world, and yours. Calane's presence here could indicate that they mean to come out of retirement.
Something I don't understand.
Boy, you and me both, dude.
So how does someone in the Ministry of Culture know a high-ranking member of the warrior caste well enough to recognize him 12 years later?
I would answer your question if I recognized your authority.
Oh.
Unlike your predecessor, my government was not consulted on your appointment.
The president feels the Minbari had too much influence over an Earth outpost. Times change.
This isn't gonna work.
Lost many of our best warriors because of you. And we do not soon forget such things.
Star Killer.
There's a doom on this station. It is because you brought it here.
This isn't gonna work.
Well, he's Grey Council. He's gotta be.
Grey Council?
They're not happy to see me here.
They're a prideful people, and the Black Star was their flagship.
No offense, buddy. I'm not happy either.
She was huge. Monstrous. We tried everything, but none of our weapons would lock onto their ships. Some kind of stealth technology.
Like shadows?
They took out the Black Star and 3 of their heavy cruisers before they could escape. It was the only real victory we had in the whole damn war, and I am not about to apologize for it. Wouldn't your first target be the representative of that world?
Delenn. Oh my god.
Get up.
You do anything to Lanier, dude, I'm jumping through this fucking screen.
She's in there, isn't she? Move aside. Move aside.
Don't get killed, kid.
Put the gun down. Put the gun down, we won't hurt you.
Lanier was gonna die
If you
for
are going to kill me,
do it.
then do so.
There we go, dude.
Otherwise, I have considerable work to do. You are the new commanding officer?
Captain John Sheridan, Earth Force.
Lanier, of the 3rd Fane of Chudomo.
We need Jeff here.
Ambassador Delenn is indisposed at the moment. Perhaps you would come back later. Much later.
Lanier, you madcap.
You could have killed both of them and been out of there in 2 minutes. But instead, we find you standing there, practically waiting for us.
Everyone knows Minbari do not kill Minbari.
Why was the gun out?
Perhaps something else is going on.
Perhaps you are the problem.
What's that supposed to mean?
Dude, they call you Star Killer.
I'm told that after the death of your commanding officer, you took command of a Minbari war cruiser. But if you're here, where's your ship?
He's gonna smile.
It concerns the reason you were sent here, the relocation of Commander Sinclair, and the reason we surrendered at the Battle of the Line. The Grey Council had come to oversee the final victory of our forces.
Look at that.
Whether they fight or not, they know they will die anyway, so...
They were right.
If our next step is the final assault on their world, we must know their defenses.
Very well, Delenn. Choose. But quickly.
Jeff.
During the course of the scan, the Council discovered something terrible. At first, they refused to believe it, so they took in other humans and had them scanned as well. It is our belief that every generation of Minbari is reborn in each following generation. Over the last 2,000 years, there have been fewer Minbari born into each generation. It is almost as if our greater souls have been
diluted,
disappearing. At the Battle of the Line, we discovered where our souls were going. Minbari souls are being reborn, in part or in full, in human bodies.
What? Oh my God.
We had all memory of the examination erased from Sinclair's mind, and we let him go. It has been our secret. Now it is yours.
Why did you ask for him to do Babylon 5 then?
Commander Sinclair was the first. There will be more.
More what?
Captain, we've got something major coming through the jump gate.
Trugati.
It's getting so a man can't even enjoy a letter from home anymore.
It's a dude from Weird Science.
What?
Mad Max. With Robert Downey Jr.'s buddy. Oh, for... Is it cyanide?
Your captain assaulted one of my crew and was caught in an attempted murder.
None of your people were killed. No Minbari was killed. You will release our captain.
And if we refuse?
You don't speak for the Minbari government.
We're cleared.
Go get him, guys.
The war has already begun, Captain. All that remains now is honor and death.
Military cast.
They're trying to do anything they can to start a shooting war. But Colleen didn't kill the security guard.
They want to blame you guys.
Colleen is dead. They say it looks like suicide.
That's what I was afraid of. They want it to look like we are provoking them into war.
Sharing Minbari souls?
They weren't told, remember? They don't know they're not supposed to attack.
You think they'd believe us if we told them?
Minbari fighters coming at us.
God, there's so much going on.
We don't have any choice. All fighters, intercept enemy craft and engage.
Confirmed, Babylon Control.
Oh my God.
We shouldn't be able to track them at all. What was that she said? All that remains now is honor and death.
They're looking to die. They're looking to die.
All fighters hold position.
Sir, what are you doing? If they hold position, they're perfect targets.
Zeta Squadron requesting confirmation of standby order.
Confirm the order.
Yeah, don't give them what they want.
Then open the jump gate. Send this message in a tight beam transmission through the opening into hyperspace. Frequency and address, it's all there.
The Agamemnon?
Come on, Babylon Control, give us a break here. If we're not allowed to fire, we're dead.
Just hold. I think he's right.
8.
Captain.
I think he's right.
What the hell?
They don't know what to do. Oh, it's awesome.
That's why they didn't fire. They were waiting for reinforcements.
Negative. They're here because I called them. I knew the Minbari government had sent another cruiser to look for the Trugati.
Oh!
One of the problems during the war was that none of our weapon systems could lock onto the Minbari vessels. They used some kind of stealth technology we were never able to break.
And now we can lock on.
They want to be destroyed?
All that remains
is honor and death. Oh, that's a good call, dude.
In exile for 12 years, they can't go home. They can't surrender without being dishonored, and they can't fight without a war. So by forcing us to attack,
they could get everything they wanted.
They're targeting the Trugati's aft engines.
Oh my God, they're cutting right through it.
Trugati's engines have been hit, unable to make jump.
Hit? They're gone.
War cruiser is ordering the Trugati to stand down and prepare to be boarded.
The response?
Just one word. Honor.
They're gonna explode.
The Trugati's fusion reactors, they're moving towards critical.
Yeah, going prompt critical. I didn't expect this from the Minbari.
The crew of the Trekkie were heroes to many of our people. Their death will be mourned. And your name will be remembered.
I mean, the Minbari were arguably our closest allies, and now it seems anything but. Man, I am reeling here.
Yes.
I do have to say Bruce Boxleitner's doing a great job.
I figured this place was a great opportunity. And now I wonder if coming here was irresponsible. This whole mess with the Trekkie might not have happened if I hadn't been here. I'm to blame for bringing all this trouble to Babylon 5. What was it our friend in the Grey Council said? If there's a doom on this station, it was you who brought it here? Well, maybe he was right. That's why they chose Sinclair to run this place. That's why they picked him to live on their world. He was their first human contact. Him they trust. But me?
You're Star Killer.
I learned a while ago that there's enough guilt in the world to go around without grabbing for more.
I told them, Delenn, as I was ordered. I only wish I could have told them the rest. About the great enemy that is returning.
Oh my God.
They say it will take both of our races to stop the darkness.
Ooh. What the hell, man?
Well, I'm not saying I mind looking at an entire squadron of...
It's a great shot coming in.
If someone could, I don't know, maybe explain it to me, this would definitely...
We have a fighter pilot character. Oh, I love it.
What does everybody think of our new captain?
Well, I haven't seen too much of him, but what I have seen, I like. I think he's gonna be okay. Susan?
I agree.
Well, the last time I saw him, he said something about having a half hour to give some...
Good luck speech.
The dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. The occasion is piled high with difficulty, and we must rise to the occasion. We cannot escape history. The fiery trial through which we pass will light us down in honor or dishonor to the last generation.
Is it an empty room?
Or meanly lose our last best hope of Earth.
For peace.
5 minutes to spare.
Oh boy. I'm a little shell-shocked, everybody. I went into this high on the hog, and now I got knocked off my hog. All right, everybody, we just finished the Season 2 premiere Points of Departure for Babylon 5, and the only thing left to do is talk about it. All right, everybody, we just finished the first episode of Babylon 5's second season, Points of Departure, which the title means a lot more now. I know that I was quiet through this one, friends. I didn't mean to be. It's just that, I'm literally going to have to, at the beginning of this, I was so spun up about Jeff not being there that I know that I missed some things. So there was a ton of information in here too, and I certainly didn't give it credit because I was too distracted. So many of you, in a non-spoilery fashion, which I absolutely love and appreciate so very much, basically said, and now I understand why. I got a whole bunch of comments that were very short, something like, hey, when you start Season 2, give it a chance, basically, to paraphrase. I didn't understand what that meant because I thought, I love Babylon 5 so far. I'm certainly not going to if there's a few bad episodes or something that I'm going to walk away from it. I think I know what they mean now. And again, I'm not going to speculate. You all told me to just hold on, so I'm going to hold on and do. You all have never led me wrong, never. Then knock on wood. Absolute fantastic community of Babylon 5 and everything, Star Trek and The Expanse. So I listen to you all implicitly, and I'm going to do so. So I'm going to I get it, everybody, and I'm listening to each and every one of you. So let's just talk about the episode as it stands. First, I love Bruce Boxleitner. I have, liked him in Tron. I had family members that watched The Scarecrow and Mrs. King, and while I don't remember much about that show, and I don't think it's Miss King. I think it is Mrs. King. I can't remember. I just remember, I have a fond memory of Bruce Boxleitner, predominantly from Tron, but, I saw his face quite a bit when I was growing up. So it's cool to see him. I think he's a great actor. I think he did a really good job as John Sheridan, JS, Jeff Sinclair. So, again, I'm seeing all this stuff now and I got to stop doing it. I have to stop doing it because I'm starting my own theories and my own things, and none of that's going to work out. And all it's going to do is distract me. And I cannot be distracted, not for a JMS show. There's too much going on. This episode proved just that. There was an absolute shit ton of revelatory information where we find out about, I'm going to try to get these, I wrote these names down. Sinoval was the commander for the Minbari that, when given the order for surrender, killed himself rather than surrender. So it was his second in command, who was that Kalane, who I thought was a fantastic character. I hate the fact that they killed him. He seemed like like a zealot. He seemed like a really cool one to have around. But he's dead now, and this all seemed to be some type of way either for the Trigati to regain its honor because it couldn't return home. It had been in exile. It's an interesting thing because, one, and I'll be very, very honest about this, I didn't see the honor thing being a thing for the Minbari. Does that make sense? I guess we just didn't have enough experience with the warrior cast. I guess it's been more of the religious cast that we've seen, with obviously Delenn and Lanier. So I wasn't expecting it. I think it's simply because we just haven't had enough. I haven't had enough experience with the warrior cast of the Minbari. Now I know. Now it makes sense. It makes, especially, I should have known something was up because you had commanders that are killing themselves. That speaks of a high level of self and personal honor and duty and loyalty to a law or decree or code that might not be understood by anybody else, but is certainly believed in by the person doing it. So I really should have seen that coming. As far as I guess the height at which the honor is kind of observed among the warrior cast. Interesting stuff. But the most interesting thing that we learned in this episode, other than Jeff being reassigned to Minbari as an ambassador, was the idea of this split soul, or that the Minbari souls were no longer, it was almost like they're being diluted or redirected into humanity, which is incredibly odd for me. It certainly explains why not only did they cease hostilities during the war, but they surrendered. That makes perfect sense now. And that obviously that surrender had to have come from the religious caste or the Grey Council via the religious caste or something like that, because the warrior caste was not going to do it. We had people killing themselves. So, and then the Trigati continued in that fashion, So this was an order that I'm assuming, and that's the other thing I don't know about the Grey Council. If it has been mentioned, I don't remember it. The consistency of the Grey Council, I know there are 9 members, but is it 4 from the religious and 5 from the warrior, or vice versa? Or are there all religious cast? It certainly doesn't seem like there's, we haven't had an example of a warrior cast on there. And again, that guy we just met that Sheridan identified as a Grey Council member, he seems a little bit more aggressive. So that's not my concern. I'm concerned that I don't know it. I would really like to know the makeup of the Grey Council. Is it equal parts, which it can't really be? Or is it 4 and 4 with one sort of independent person? It's interesting, because I'm assuming they vote. We know they voted on Delenn. So, obviously it's a democratic type of committee as far as whenever they reach a decision and how they reach a decision. Whoo! Oh my God, just an absolute ton of shit going on here. We still got Mike down. No Jakar still. We didn't see Londo at all in this one. I'm really going to be curious to see what happens when, Londo finds out, when Mike finds out that Jeff's not there. You know what I mean? Again, I mentioned Catherine because I was spinning. I mentioned Catherine during the reaction, but I'm assuming then that she'd be. But can she? She's a scout. She's in this quadrant of space predominantly. Oh man, I hope they give us more. I'm gonna listen to all of you. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be talking about Jeff the whole time, and that's certainly not what we need to do. I need to trust what you all told me and just let it cook. I need to trust and let it cook. I'm just so spun up about that. Okay, let's just take everything with Jeff and let's put a pin in it. We know he was pulled back by the office of the president, which would have been Clark, right? Morgan Clark, the vice president who succeeded Santiago. He was recalled by that office and then sent as the Earth or Terran ambassador to Minbari homeworld. That's it. I'm not going to talk about any more about that. Let's address John Sheridan. Okay, I think the character is cool as hell. I mean, I think the character's got a really interesting backstory, very different from Jeff. I mean, I know they're both military men, and I hesitate comparing Sinclair to Sheridan because, they are very different outside of military service. And I'm obviously going to be, I'm going to try to be as diplomatic as possible here and not take sides. But, well, I've said it before. Jeff is a fantastic diplomat. In fact, that's probably the thing he's the best at. He always goes out of his way to make sure that he knows like the customs, the religious significance of all of the people that he talks with. He always has the appropriate honorifics. He comes up with really good compromises between the different races. He comes up, he's a diplomat. He really is in the noblest sense of the word, he's a diplomat, not somebody that gives lip service or, spins somebody around and, tries to give. He is legitimately a compromiser. And that is, if not his greatest strength, one of his greatest strengths. And, Jeff's a great leader. Sheridan, on the other end of the spectrum, we haven't had obviously nearly enough examples of his leadership style. He seems to be an awesome character as far as just what we see on the surface. You know what I mean? By the very name of Star Killer alone, that's a pretty ominous and also badass nickname to have, Star Killer. Okay. We know, you sort of know what you're getting when they're like, oh, that's old Captain Star Killer. You don't think the guy's like really good at baking. Not that I've seen plenty of aggressive bakers. I'm just saying you usually don't get the moniker Star Killer, it might be like Hunger Killer or like, Tooth Enamel Killer or something. But anywho, with Sheridan, he seems to, he possesses a lot of interesting characteristics. I thought it was sort of self-certain. Again, first impressions, everybody. The canned Abraham Lincoln speech was, to me, it just immediately screamed, that's not what Jeff would do. And I gotta stop doing that. Otherwise it's going to drive me batty. But, Jeff always seems to off the cuff. Like he knows, he's prepped, he's ready. Again, he's a diplomat. And I think in a weird way that kind of canned speech, like him practicing the canned speech, having to have it done in a specific period of time, the first 24 hours, is meant to show us the differences between Sheridan and Sinclair, at least initially, you know what I mean? Like in this particular way of like, approaching and interacting with people. He has like, I got to do this, I got to do that. He seems very regimented in how he does things. This must be done, this must be done. Jeff seems not loosey-goosey, but he seems more organic. He seems more improvisational. You know what I mean? I don't know. Again, not a whole lot to compare the two with so far. And I will say this, Sheridan doesn't seem to be, for the moniker Star Killer, he certainly doesn't seem to be a warmonger, because if he was, and which is what I sort of think that the Trugati was counting on, they're like, oh, okay, Star Killer's commanding Babylon 5 now, perfect time for us to show up and, basically goad them into attack and have what would end up being, death by Babylon 5 instead of like, suicide by cop or something like that. We're going to dare them to kill us. And when they do, ultimately that might destabilize the galaxy or whatever back into a big fight, but it doesn't matter. They'd have their honor back, so to speak. But he didn't buy it, which to me says a lot about Sheridan, because it's anybody else that would have been like Pierce. Pierce is another great example because he had a heavy cruiser command under himself. And, Pierce was ready to fight. Like he was ready. He didn't need much. He was a warmonger. He was very aggressive, very ready to go. Open up your gun ports. You're with me or against me. Again, very aggressive, very driven in this manner of speaking and train of thought. John was certainly not that way. Like he kept thinking, he kept looking for a way out. He kept wondering why this was happening, which gives me a lot of hope for the character, because had he ended up being a warmonger, I would have checked out. I'd have been like, okay, well, this character is somebody that I'm just gonna, watch and not really be interested in, because that would have been, for me, way too much of a change of pace from Jeff. And again, I got to keep in mind that you all said to just hold on and just not do anything. So I'm going to hold on. And again, first impressions of Sheridan. It's in with this. First impressions of season 2 and John Sheridan, since he was introduced in this episode. I like Sheridan. I do. I think that, again, I think I like him more because I like Bruce Boxleitner. But again, nothing about the character rang false for me, other than the canned speech, that being sort of like a crutch, you know, sort of like a weakness of his, which I'm glad they show us stuff like that. That means that we've got a more fleshed out character. Good stuff. But he delivered the speech really well. You know what I mean? And again, I think that's why, because of Bruce Boxleitner's acting ability, I'm like, oh, it's a very good delivery of that speech. You know? So I'm giving Sheridan the laurels that should go to Bruce Boxleitner, but I digress. As far as season 2 goes, I don't think that I was sort of shocked by the lore dump that Lanier gave, where he was just like, yeah, splitting of the souls and being reborn in humans. I was like, whoa, we waited like a whole season and that was just kind of like given to Ivanova and Sheridan. So be it, you know, but at the same time, that was a lot of information to take in, and I'm going to continue to take it in as I watch. But you know what? This is a good place to pause because I've got a lot of thinking to do. Friends, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel, and it allows me to alert you next time it's time for some Babylon 5. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. Not a fan of Patreon? Stick with us on YouTube memberships. You'll get all of our episodes at least a day early, plus any bonus episodes we come up with. But my dear friends, all that is then and this is now, and now it's time to say goodbye from Babylon 5's first episode of the second season. So where should we say goodbye from? Well, I say we say goodbye from the only place that my addled and whirling brain can think of. The end of the episode. Friends, if Bruce Boxleitner and or John Sheridan is giving his speech and it seems to be an empty room, let's give him a few audience members and welcome him to Babylon 5 in the correct manner, as maybe in the shadows, maybe just overhearing at our stations, you know, in the distance, we hear the captain giving this speech just under the wire. Friends, I'm going to keep the faith like you told me until such time as we continue this tale through season 2 and beyond of Babylon 5. Vulcan roll, and I'll see you.